Is this better? Hello, 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 hello. Yo, 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 yo. Hello, hello, hello. Yo, hello. Yo. Oh, yes. Hello. It works. It works. Let's go. Let's go. I just had to restart my computer. What's up, Jack? What's up, guys? I just had to restart my computer. Hello? Can you guys hear me now? Are we all good? Oh, let's go. Let's go, finally. Let's go. Oh my goodness. What is going on these days with my TikTok? It's ridiculous. What is going on these days? Everything is getting banned left, right, and center. Holy moly. Well, hope you guys are having a lovely start to your day. Let's get some likes in this stream, hopefully, so that we can get pushed again. Just unfortunate behavior. Let's see what's happening here on gold for today. Let's see what our little vision is going to be like for gold. Yesterday, we absolutely nailed direction in the market. It was absolutely beautiful. Why is it dropping so much? Welcome to the stream, Sam. Must be some sort of news going on. Also, guys, some guy is just building right above us as well, which is also annoying. Must be something to do with the US and Iran war, with gold just dumping so much. Gold, let's see, if we close below this 1 hour for value gap on gold, okay, that is the only thing that is currently holding price up. I would expect price to continue lower. So let's see what price wants to do in the next 20 minutes. But we are just getting some crazy selling pressure. Look at the monthly. Are we lagging a lot, guys? Are we lagging a lot? Or are we good? Is the lag bad? Or are we alright? Let me know. Let's remove everything from the chart. Thanks for the follow, whoever that was. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, let's remove absolutely everything from the chart and let's do some analysis on gold. Now, I'm in a short targeting 4,024. Check the previous daily low and previous daily high. Yeah, bonus, we're going to get into that just now. I hope you guys are having a beautiful start to your Wednesday. We had a little bit of some technical issues. However, it is weird though, because these two charts, FXCM and OANDA, they're different. This is what I don't understand about gold. And it's so hard to see because look guys, on the 4 hour, right, the 4 hour is always different. We have a 4 hour value gap on OANDA that hasn't been tapped yet, right? And then if you go to FXCM, right, the 4 hour value gap, we've actually tapped it in and we are selling down. So that is just super key. Like, how do you know which chart to listen to? Like, how do you know which chart is the right one? One of them hasn't tapped it for value gap, the other one is. This changes the story a lot, because if we've already tapped into the FVG, then it means we're going to continue lower. How to deal with fear? Detach from the outcome of the trade. Make sure you're not risking too much. Trust yourself, trust your analysis. Realize that losses are part of the game and that you don't truly lose unless you learn. There's no such thing as losing in trading. You only win or you learn. You detach from the outcome of the trade. I'd say that's how I'll deal with fear. You need to realize that the moment that you enter the trade, your job as a trader is done. That's what you need to be doing. The moment that you enter a trade, your job as a trader is done. Now, the other job is just to wait. You know, it's almost like a freeing feeling. At least someone who knows what he's doing. Yeah, there isn't very many of us out here on TikTok. I do try my best, bro. I'm not perfect though, that's for sure. I'm not perfect. How much should be the initial capital? For what? Akolo, you don't need initial capital. You can even trade with demo account, which costs 0, or you can trade with a funded account. Thank you for the follow, Kareem. I appreciate it. Right, guys, we're gonna go through gold, but this is the thing, guys. I'm telling you. Do you guys know the answer to this? Do you guys know the answer to this? Because I still don't figure it out. On one chart, it shows that we've tapped into this 4-hour gap and we're pushing off it, and then on the other chart, it shows that we have a fair value gap that we haven't tapped into yet, and the candles look completely different. So it's just like this changed a lot because the 4-hour time frame is huge. I'm up 100 thanks to you. Hell yeah, Tuan. I love to hear that, brother. Yesterday we absolutely nailed market direction. Last night it was insane. We absolutely nailed direction yesterday in the Discord. We marked it out. Where was it? On gold. Let me take this chat out. It's so annoying. On gold, this was what I had last night. I said, if gold don't bounce from these two zones, get ready for a free fall down to the 1-hour equal lows at 452. If we start selling hard, I'm going to short. And unfortunately, the short actually happened while I was sleeping during Asian session. But you can see that we didn't respect any of the buy zones, as I was saying, and we came down to our buy zone at 4,057. But this happened all in Asian session, so I didn't even catch the move. It's just so annoying. All my moves have been happening in Asian session. It's ridiculous. Yo, what's up? Hello, Sook. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the live stream. I'm in a swing low. All right, we're gonna go through gold now. What do we see for the day so we can be prepared? Okay, it is a Wednesday. Okay, what happens usually on Wednesday? Wednesday usually sometimes it's midweek reversals, right? What happens on Wednesday? Sometimes it is a midweek reversal. So we will sell off Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday we reverse. Okay, it's not always the case. Okay, but we can keep our eyes open for that. We have got quite the big sell-off on gold. Okay, so a little bit of a reversal would not be the worst in the world. Okay, however, the selling pressure does look like it's fairly strong. I'm just trying to figure out, guys, on which chart I should do my analysis on for today, because there is a very key part on the 4-hour time frame which could determine literally the direction for the whole day. Just the fact that in this chart on FXCM we tapped into this 4-hour and we're currently pushing off it. And if that's the case, then I will definitely not be looking for longs, I will be looking for shorts. But then on Oanda, we haven't tapped into that 4-hour and we actually have a 4-hour untapped. So that changes things because we could be looking for a retracement trade up. So it's just like, I don't know which chart to do my analysis on today, to be honest. That's sort of the dilemma that I'm facing now. Let's check another ticker. Let's check what FXCM, Forex.com. We've also tapped into the 4-hour on Forex.com. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's just do it on this. I always do my analysis on Forex.com anyways, but let's see, what does Pepperstone say? Pepperstone, we haven't tapped. Have we tapped into the 4-hour? Okay, we have tapped into the 4-hour on Pepperstone. Vantage, what is Vantage saying? Did we catch into the Pepperstone? Okay, guys, it does look like it's the case then. It does look like most of the brokers are saying that we have tapped into this 4-hour. So let's stick with this. I don't know why FXCM is tripping and telling us that we haven't tapped into the 4-hour yet, but we have. Okay, so this is what we're gonna work with. Okay, right, guys. So at the start of every week, okay, what do we always do on the chart? Let's remove everything on the chart, right? And we always have our previous weekly candle low, okay, and our previous weekly candle high, okay? At the start of every week on Sunday night, we always chart with these two levels on top, okay? Because this is gonna show us the direction for the week. Now on gold, you can clearly see, right, that we have actually sold off and we have taken the previous daily low yesterday. Okay, that was part of the confluence. No, 2 days ago we did. That was part of the reason why we took a short, right? Because we were targeting that area on the chart. Okay, if we scale to the monthly, guys, right? The monthly candle is closing in 6 days. Okay, we have 6 days worth of price action again until this monthly candle closes. If we do, guys, continue to sell off hard within these next 6 days, right? This is going to be a very bearish looking monthly candle. Very bearish looking monthly candle, okay, which is not the best sign for gold. Now in terms of my targets on a higher time frame on gold, okay, we have this area right here of inefficiency that we haven't tapped into yet, okay, at 3,931. okay, this is the area on the chart where my draw of liquidity. Forex.com is the most reliable. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, I'm just gonna trade on Vantage because they all look the same, and this is the broker that I use, so at least I have the same entries and exits, like price levels on my chart. But the thing with Forex.com is that it doesn't allow me to use the volume profile, which is a shame. I like to use the volume profile as well for confluences, but Forex.com doesn't allow me to do that. What's up, Seven? How you doing? How are you doing, guys? Welcome to the live stream. We're just getting started. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hit the like button, guys. Let's get to at least 1K likes. Come on, so the stream can be pushed to other people. Let's get that finger strength in. We're not just here to learn trading. We're also here to get jacked. Get that finger strength. It takes 2 seconds. Just type up the live. I appreciate it. It gets pushed out to more people. Okay, we're already severely banned from TikTok, so the more help that I can get for you guys, the better. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Fair point, bro. Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the likes. You guys are the best. Okay, we're gonna go do a full analysis on gold. We're gonna do full analysis on Nasdaq so that you guys are gonna be ready for the day and ready for the week ahead. Okay, so on the higher time frame, guys. Okay, it's always important to know where price wants to go on the higher time frame. Okay, because this is how I see time frames. Okay, for those of you guys that are new to the stream, I like to always simplify my concepts as easiest as possible. Okay, I don't know if you guys are familiar with these Russian dolls. Do you guys know what these Russian dolls are? Okay, oh, this is what I currently look. Time frames in trading are like Russian dolls. All right, why? Because we have the big doll, okay, which is the higher time frame, so the monthly and the weekly. Okay, then we have the medium-sized doll, which is like the medium time frames, like the 4 hour and the 1 hour. Okay, and then you have the small dolls, right, which are like the lower time frames, like the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the 5-minute, and the 1 minute. Okay, every single doll looks the same, right? Price action is fractal, right? If I was to go on the chart, guys, and remove the time frames at the top, you wouldn't be able to tell on which time frame that I'm looking at the chart. Right? If I was on the monthly time frame, if I was on the weekly, if I was on the daily, if I was on the 1 minute, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, right? Because price action is fractal. It's the same all throughout time frames, the same as these Russian dolls. Okay, but the thing is that all the time frames, they work together to make one, right? The small ones go into the medium ones go into the large ones, and it's all compact. So whenever you want to do your analysis on a pair, okay, you always want to understand what the biggest doll is saying. You need to ask yourself, what is the biggest doll saying? So that's the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. Okay, once you understand the higher time frame direction, okay, then you can scale down to the medium dolls, which is the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the 30-minute. Okay, and then you scale down to the lower. So let's start off. Size matters. It's the way of the ocean, brother. It's not exactly about size, but size does play a big part, 100%. It's the motion of the ocean. That's what it matters most. Anyways, so on the higher time frame, guys, in the big dolls, I do expect gold to come down to these levels here at 3,929. Okay, we can call this our monthly draw of liquidity. Okay, monthly draw of liquidity is going to be here at 3,929. Okay, once we have determined this, let's now scale down to the weekly time frame. Okay, and we currently look, what is the weekly telling us? What is the weekly candle currently looking like? Are we looking like we are reacting off anything? Are we looking like the selling pressure is strong? Okay, these are the sort of questions that you want to be asking yourself. Okay, right now, looking at this week's candle, okay, this looks very bearish to me, to be honest with you, because look, towards the start of the week, okay, price opened up here on Sunday night. We opened up here. What did price do? We came up all the way, right? And now we are currently rejecting very hard, leaving this big wick and looking like this candle is probably going to close pretty bearish. Okay, so looking at this weekly candle right now on a Wednesday, I would expect price to continue lower. Now, where do I want price to go? Okay, you need to ask yourself, where could price potentially go to? Right, well, we have this low here, okay, which is the closest thing to price right now at 4,023. Okay, so this is the low-hanging fruit, you like to call it, right? The low-hanging fruit. It's the closest thing to price action now, the easiest target that gold could potentially take. Okay, so as a trader, since we have identified this level in the chart, right, our job is to potentially look for entries on the lower time frames, taking us down to target this level. Okay, because it makes sense, guys. If you identify a level on the higher time frames that price wants to go to, your job as a trader is to find how you can get there. Okay, how can price take us to that level? Okay, the best sort of trades, guys, is when you have a clear target on the higher time frame and the lower time frame matches your analysis. Okay, however, this doesn't mean, guys, that we have to dump here today. Okay, it doesn't mean that at all. It's only Wednesday. We have Thursday and Friday still left of the week. Okay, so this is why it's important that we can scale down now lower and see where does price action want to go on a short term, you know, in the short term, because we're day traders, guys. We're day traders, so we only care what the daily candle wants to do. Okay, now looking at this, guys, every single day we always want to mark out the previous daily low, okay, and the previous daily high. Okay, every single day you want to mark that out on the chart. Why? Because this is going to give you the range for the day. Okay, when a new daily candle opens, okay, we will typically always either take the high, okay, the previous candle high, or we are going to take the previous candle low, previous daily candle low. Okay, it is very rare that during a trading day we are going to take both high and low during the same day. It's very rare. Okay, so what is this? How does this help us at all for today? Well, the reason how this helps us is because we can see that we have already taken the previous daily candle's low. Okay, so that narrows down our options massively. Because today, okay, we can either continue selling off lower, okay, because we've already taken previous daily low, okay, or we can actually get some sort of retracement, okay, and stay around this area here, right? Because we know that price is not going to want to come up today all the way up here, okay, because we've already taken the low. So the probabilities we come up to take the high is very low. Okay, so that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. You mark the wicks or the candles. You mark the wicks or the you mark the wicks or the bodies? Is that what you mean, brother? When I mark out the previous daily low, I always mark out the wick, obviously. Why? Because the wicks tell the story and the bodies do the damage. Wicks do the damage, body tells the story, wrong way around. Okay, so whenever you want to mark out a high or a low, you always want to mark it out from the wick, right? Because that's the lowest and the highest point that the candle went during that specific time frame. Okay, now when you're drawing order blocks, for example, right, you don't always have to draw it from the wick, right? For example, when I draw my order blocks, we all trade a different way, guys. We all trade a different way. Okay, if you guys don't know what an order block is, it is basically the up candle, okay, before the series, like it's the candle in the opposite direction before it moved down. Okay, that's probably the simplest way that I can explain an order block. There is people who trade supply and demand, right? These guys will probably call this a supply zone, okay? And some supply and demand traders will mark out from the wick to the body, okay? Some other supply and demand traders will just mark out the body, okay? It all depends. We all have our different ways of trading, right? This is the only time where I do mark out the body of the candle. However, most of the time I always mark out the wick. Okay, so since we've identified, guys, that we have already taken the previous daily low. Okay, we've already identified that. Now let's scale down to the lower time frame on the 4 hour and tells us what is the story telling us on the lower time frames. Okay, thank you guys for the follows, I appreciate it. Let me catch up with some of you guys' names. What was it? Francesco, welcome. I can't see the follows for some reason. I don't know why it's not showing up on my phone, but thank you guys for all the follows. I do appreciate it. Oh yeah, Tom Bain, Berto, Peter, Andras, Duber, Harkin, Julio, Sophia, Chesney, GR Trades, Uncle Theta, Terran, you guys are the best. Thank you so much. Hello, welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the stream. JCSC, Leon, hello brother, and I'm myself from 141, my TP is 423. Love you too, man. Love you too, brother. Nice, Albesi. Well, let's hope that we are gonna come down lower. I do try my best to be as educational as possible so that you guys can find value. All my live streams are basically just like a free mentorship. I do trade every single day, guys. For those of you guys that are new, I trade London session and I trade New York session on live. So everything is tracked, for you guys. If you guys have time and you pay attention, there is people who do find value from my live streams, and I appreciate every single new person in here. Welcome. Okay, so yesterday, guys, in the Discord, we were looking for these equal lows to get taken. Okay, this is what we were currently looking for. This was the analysis that we sent. We said 452, these are the equal lows that we want. Okay, and we actually ended up hitting them perfectly. Okay, we hit them perfectly. So now what does it mean? Are we going to want to continue lower, or are we going to get a little bit of a reversal from here? Okay, the 1 hour candle is about to close just now, guys. The 1 hour candle is literally about to close now. Okay, this is important for us. Why is this important? Because the way that I trade, guys, I trade ICT. For those of you guys who are also ICT traders in here, you will understand what I mean by this, right? But we have a 1 hour fair value gap here. Okay, and it's a bullish fair value gap. So what does it mean? It means that there was more buyers in this price range than there was sellers. Okay, so technically speaking, if price was to come down into this area, okay, the buyers should have stepped in. They should have stepped in here, and they should have pushed price higher. Why? Because it's a bullish fair value gap, right? There is more buyers than sellers in this specific price range. However, since price now has actually come into this area, and you can see the sellers have taken control, right? How do we know that? Because they closed a huge bearish looking candle below this fair value gap, okay? Which basically is saying, the sellers are saying, hey, you buyers are not in control anymore. We've got control of the market now, okay? So the sellers have flipped the narrative, okay? If we were to continue to be bullish for today, we would have expected a reaction within this price range, okay? This morning when I was in the Discord, I sent out this, okay? I sent this buy zone looking for a potential long up to 4,102. And I said, if we don't react from here, okay, and we inverse the 1 hour fair value gap, I will be looking for shorts targeting 4,036 and 3,998. Okay, so I give a plan always to go up and to go down. Okay, right now we did just get the inverse on the 1 hour time frame. We just got it now. So what does that mean? It means that I am also potentially looking for sells now, right? We are also pushing off this 4 hour bearish fair value gap. Guys, quick sidebar. Can someone tell me how far away we are from 2K followers? That's been a goal of mine forever. We must be pretty close soon. Michael, thank you for the follow. JB, thank you for the follow. Oh my God, you believe in FVGs? Dennis, yes, brother, because FVGs is a principle that allows to determine where the direction wants to move in the market. Right, Johnny, thank you for the follow. Citrus, thank you for the follow. 14 away, that's insane. Jack, hell yeah. Bree, thank you for the follow. You need 18 more followers, that's insane. 1965. Okay, so to answer the question of whoever was Dennis, fair value gaps are a way. Okay, I will never just purely enter a trade off a fair value gap. Okay, however, I will use fair value gaps to determine the direction of the market. Okay, if I see bearish fair value gaps getting disrespected, okay, meaning that there is buyers closing above, it shows me that there is more bullish order flow in the market, so I'm more likely to look for longs. Okay, if I see bearish fair value gaps, for example, like this, getting respected, okay, it means that the sellers have more control, so the chances of price coming down is higher, right? And I also use fair value gaps as my entries as well. But that's just one of the confluences that I look for. That is not the be all end all of trading, right? You can't trade only purely off fair value gaps. It's about using them in combination with other things, okay? Because yesterday, guys, in the live stream, for those of you guys that were here, okay, we were talking about how the market moves, okay? Where is this? We were talking about how the market moves, okay? The market moves in 3 ways, okay? This is how the market moves. Let me put this in frame for you guys. Let me put this in frame. Can you guys see this? Please let me know. 1 sec. Let me see. Maybe not. Can you guys see this? Rebalancing. Okay, these are the 3 ways that the market moves. Either, okay, price is rebalancing, okay, going into a fair value gap, going to some inefficiencies, okay, or we are taking, hunting liquidity, or we are creating and engineering liquidity. Okay, that's the 3 ways that the market moves. Okay, fix, take, or create. Okay, this makes sense. Okay, look guys, look, I can show you this happen in live. Okay, remember this. Okay, in trading, fix, take, or create. Every single day when you want to hop on the market, you want to ask yourself, what is the market currently wanting to do? Are we wanting to fix an imbalance, take a high or low, or create liquidity? Okay, so for example, this morning, okay, we ended up taking liquidity. Okay, we hunted a low. What did price do? We came down here and we swept this low. Okay, so we currently took. This was a form of taking. The market needed to come and take this low. Okay, now what are the other options? Either now price continues, okay, to take more liquidity and continue lower, or we are going to want to rebalance, right, come up and fill some sort of fair value gap. However, we have already done that, guys. Okay, look at this. This is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Market takes out a previous old low right here. Okay, market takes it out here, and then what does price want to do? Okay, price then comes up, okay, rebalances itself into an inefficiency, okay, right here. We take the low, then we tap into this fair value gap, okay, and now we continue lower, right? And this is how you can start understanding, right, when you hop on the charts on a day-to-day basis, where the market wants to go, right? And that's how I'm able to send, you know, my analysis in advance, right, for the people in the Discord so that they can be prepared. Because I can understand that the market always moves in 3 ways. Either we're going to hunt for an old high or low, either we're going to a fair value gap, or we are building liquidity, which means that we are accumulating, which we're going sideways. Okay? Did I miss out on any other thing? There we go. Okay? Now, on gold, what do we potentially see? We just saw that we have just inversed this 1 hour fair value gap. So I would expect price to either, okay, come down and we can take Asian lows, okay? That is the lowest hanging fruit here, is Asian lows. We can either come down, sweep Asian lows, and then if we get some sort of reaction, maybe we can come and look for some retracements up higher, okay? However, if we don't get a reaction from Asian lows, right, then I would expect price to want to come down, okay, even further, and we can use this target that I have on the chart, the 4,030 level. Why is my live stream banned? What did I say that annoyed the live stream? That is just so annoying. We were doing so well. I don't understand how we got restricted all of a sudden. Thank you guys for all the follows. I really appreciate it. Welcome. Hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, sorry. We will be hopping on live stream as well for the New York session. So we will be trading live. 8 followers more. That's insane. Cosmo, thank you, brother. Okay, so guys, we have identified gold that we are looking for shorts. Okay, I am currently going to be looking for shorts today. My bias is currently bearish on gold. Okay, Dennis, no, I've been trading for 5 years, bro, and I haven't yet to win my first trade. I've been really trying hard. You know, I think that me analyzing the chart on live stream is going to finally give me my winning trade. And yeah, it's a long journey. Trading is tough, man. I just can't seem to hack these candles. I just can't seem to understand where price wants to go. I'm always on the opposite side of the market. So no, I'm yet to make any money from trading, unfortunately. Brick by brick, brother. One step at a time. One step at a time. Damn, maybe I might become profitable 20 years into trading. Okay, now in terms of entries, guys, on the lower time frames, honestly, there isn't really anything that I see here that is worth, you know, entering. It's just price is just straight dumping right now, right? So unless we get some sort of big retracement for some reason, okay, we come up, okay, around here, then I would be interested for shorts. However, for now, the most likely scenario is that we are going to come down and take these Asian lows, okay? That is 2K. No way. Let's go. Let's go, legends. Let's go. Since the start of this year, guys, I've been on this grind with this account. And only recently, in 1 month, we've been able to grow to 2K with the live streams. Bless every single one of you. This is a big milestone for me. Amen. Let's see how we're going to be by the end of the year. Thank you so much, guys. I do appreciate it. This makes me really happy and makes me feel blessed because it means that people are finding value from these live streams, and I do try my best. Hell yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, 2001 Zan. Thank you, brother. Hell yeah. I don't know who was my 2K followers. I think it was Kaik Kathini was my 2K follower. Nice. Okay, so now that we have identified that gold wants to come down, guys, okay, obviously I would love, the best scenario for me would be to look for shorts targeting Asian lows. Okay, this would be my target, and I would look, the best sort of trade is when you have a clear target, okay, on the higher time frame, and you take a trade going into that direction. Okay, however, if we do end up coming down first and just getting straight dumpage, I will be looking for a reaction here to potentially have some sort of retracement, okay? And if we don't get the retracement and the selling pressure is just super strong, okay, well, what would I expect? I would expect price to come down, break beneath this low, okay? And then we can get in here on the pullback, okay? We will wait for price to pull back into our zone, which will allow us to enter the move short, targeting lower. Okay, that is my current plan on gold for today. Okay, bounce from this level here for a potential retracement up. Okay, or we wait for price to do what? Break below support. Okay, then retest into resistance for then a continuation lower. Okay, that's the most simplest way that I can potentially put it. In which country I'm in Kenya, Sahil. I'm in Kenya right now. I'm in Kenya until September, and then I'm going to be in Bali from September to February. So I'm just here chilling. This is my home. I was born and raised here. If you guys want to know a little bit about me who are new, just look at the pinned video in my TikTok, right? That is telling you my story of how have I changed my strategy a lot in the past? I have changed some bits of it, 100%. I have tweaked a few things. However, I do trade mostly the same way, right? I honestly, one of the biggest things that I've learned with my strategy or with the way that I trade is that I trade less now. You know, before I used to always be so eager and always want to enter positions, you know, all the time. And I found that, you know, since I'm trading less, I'm actually making more money because I'm entering, you know, only the trades that I truly like and only the trades where the market is literally begging me to enter, right? Those are the sort of trades that I like to take nowadays. So I'm just a bit more patient, and I've managed to detach myself from the outcome, because one of the biggest mindsets that you can adapt in trading is having an abundance mindset, right? Always realizing that there is always something better coming, okay? If you miss a trade, right? I have the mindset now that if I miss a trade, if trade goes and hits my target without me, I know that I will be able to find another trade in another day, right? There is always an abundance of opportunities, okay? So that's just allowed me to just be more patient, okay? And let the trades come to me rather than me going to them. That's been the biggest mental shift, honestly. Truth? Hell yeah, brother. For real. What? Hello, Spiky, nice hair. I just got out the shower. I don't know if it's exactly very presentable, but I'm just relaxing, having a good time with you guys, so no need to look the best. Zamas, you speak so fast. This is me speaking low, Zamas. You should see me when I get excited. When you come to Europe, Sahil, I was just in Europe about a month ago. I'm going to be in Kenya for a couple months and then I'm going to go to Bali. But I'm going to spend a lot of time in Bali, guys. It's going to be my new home. I'm also moving there with one of my trading partners as well. So it's going to be fun. A lot of YouTube content coming out. It's going to be cool. Just beginning with trading. Do you think S&P 500 is good for beginning? I mean, honestly, you can start trading on whatever asset you want, right? There is no good and bad asset to trade for, the beginning. However, is the S&P 500 easy to trade? No, I wouldn't say it's easy to trade, right? No market is easy to trade, right? But the thing with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ is that we do move very quickly. Price is very volatile. So maybe for the beginner environment, it's probably not the best asset to start trading with. But that doesn't mean that you can't learn, right? It all depends on how you learn and how you learn to read the market. I'm in Kenya too, EduDancer. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Appreciate the words of wisdom. Just trying to keep it real, wannabe. Just trying to keep it real. I think that's the most important thing in the trading industry, just trying to keep it real. Speaking of NASDAQ though, guys, let's check out NASDAQ of what currently we can be looking at. So on gold, I hope you guys understand what I'm looking at for gold. I hope that I was, clear enough. I'm looking for shorts. Wait. I'm looking for shorts. My bias today is shorts on gold. Okay, that's what my bias is. Unless guys, the market gives me a reason to change my bias. Okay, a lot of you guys are married to the idea of where you think price is going, right? Just because I have the analysis, just because everything looks like it makes sense that it wants to go down, if the market wants to tell me something else, then I will change my bias, okay? And I will adapt myself, because as a trader, we need to adapt to the conditions that the market is presenting to us. Forex or futures, what's the better option? Ale, I was actually trading Forex, only Forex, until actually a couple months ago. Just purely because the Forex market wasn't moving very cleanly. We were consolidating a lot on GBP USD, GBP JPY. We were just chopping, and I was actually ended up, most of my trades and most of my analysis was working out and playing out on gold and on NASDAQ. So I was like, let me just trade that. And now I just focus on two pairs. I trade gold and NASDAQ. And it's honestly helped my psychology a lot, because I don't have to, read 5 different pairs every day. I just stick to the same 2, and I'm getting better over time. What of NASDAQ? We're going to check NASDAQ now. When will you come to Bali? I will be in Bali in September all the way to February, and maybe long. Maybe I also might go to Vietnam next year, and the Philippines. I would love to visit those places. Apparently it's absolutely beautiful, and let's see what the world brings us. I am still on the come up with trading, guys. Okay, I do not have the Lamborghini parked in the garage yet, right? However, I have spent years and years in the market, so I do understand how the market moves, and I do understand how to read price, right? The only thing that is currently stopping me, or the only thing that is the reason why I'm not at my financial goals yet, is just purely it's a question of capital, right? I'm just now in the process of trying to build up my capital so that I can have more in my trading account and make more money. Okay, so the goal with trading, I'm already traveling, but the goal is to travel more. I want to travel everywhere, guys. I don't know about you, but traveling for me is it's amazing, and trading allows you to do that. So that's why we're locked in every day, trading live, reading the market, focusing on the Discord, growing a community, and then all good things will come, in due time. All good things take time, guys. All good things take time. And what every successful person says, it was always the journey that counts. And it does sound cringe, and when you're in the process, it's one of the most annoying things, because I just want to get to the outcome, get to the result. But I was either gonna wait to live stream until I had everything that I wanted, or I was gonna start live streaming while I was still in the process, so that people can come up with me and we can all reach the top together. And I think the second way of doing it is a bit more fun, and I think it's honestly better because you guys get to see my journey and I get to see you guys' journey. What's the fun when someone's already got everything and then it's just like, oh cool, This is why I feel like a lot of people on live stream were able to connect with me, because I'm just trying to keep it real. Now on Nasdaq, guys, we have identified these buy zones. Okay, these were the buy zones that I had sent out in the Discord. Okay, and just to be purely transparent, for those of you guys that are going and clicking the link in my TikTok bio for my Telegram group, okay, I am not a signals group. Okay, so please don't get the wrong impression. Trading is just my job. Okay, my job is to read the market, and I share with the people inside my community what my vision is. If you decide to take the same trade as me, that's your responsibility. Okay, however, I would honestly prefer that you used my analysis as maybe an external opinion. Okay, that is honestly what these groups are for, right? It's not just to signal bot me and every time that I enter long or short, you guys copy me, because you learn nothing that way. You learn nothing, right? You need to learn the skill for yourself, because trading is a skill that will pay you for the rest of your life. So let's say if you were signal botting me and I ended up dying tomorrow, well, what would you do? You would be cooked. Right? So that's obviously not the way for it. Even if you're not there yet, you're inspiring, bro. Real talk. FDO, thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate those kind words. They do mean a lot to me. I think transparency is the new currency these days. And especially in this toxic and just heavy trading industry, it's insane. So many people always just trying to do wrong. And that's why I come on live stream, because this is the realest way that I can connect with you guys. I cannot be any more authentic than being on live stream. You guys will be able to see straight through who I am, right? Because I'm just here every single day to showing up. You guys see my consistency. You guys see my discipline, right? You see how I read the market. You see when I lose. You see when I win. Okay, you see everything, right? That's the best way that I could possibly be, so that people who follow me, they know what's going on. And I put my money where my mouth is, literally. So for Nasdaq, guys, what are we doing here? Okay, we are currently engineering liquidity. We are engineering liquidity right now. What does that mean? It means market is going sideways, market is accumulating. Okay, why would the market do this? Why would the market do this? The market would do this, guys, is because after a big move down, okay, there is going to be a lot of people entering these positions last minute, right? There's going to be a lot of people who FOMO'd short during this move down on Nasdaq, 100%. They see price coming down, they're like, oh damn, I need to get into my sells, spam, spam, spam. And look, what does that leave? Fair value gaps, stop losses all up along this move down. Okay, and obviously you guys know, how does the market move? Okay, market moves by absorbing money. Okay, why? Because the big banks, the big institutions, the big companies, the hedge funds, these are the guys that move the market. Okay, and in order for these guys, okay, to enter their big positions, we're not talking about me and you guys in the chat. Our positions don't mean anything. When we enter positions in the market, we don't even move price by a pip, right? Our money is insignificant. But these big banks and institutions, they enter positions with millions. And in order for their positions to be filled, okay, in order for them to be allowed to enter the market, they need to have an equal number of buyers or sellers as well. Okay, because how does trading work on a very principled standpoint? Okay, before this whole trading thing was digitalized, okay, you wanted to enter a position, what did you have to do? You had to call up your banker and you say, hey, I'm Joe and I want to buy, let's say, 10 shares of Apple, for example, okay? And the bank is gonna say, okay, Joe, well, let me connect you with David, who he wants to share his 10 shares of Apple. Okay, so Joe wants to buy 10 shares, David wants to sell 10 shares, perfect. Okay, that's how it works. However, now we are in 2026. So you don't need to call up your banker anymore every time you need to take a trade, right? You can just do it by simply clicking a button on the screen. Okay, so the principle still stands, right? In order for these big institutions, these big bankers to enter their millions and millions of dollars of trades, right? They need also millions and millions and millions of dollars of other people's money so that they can be filled, okay? So why do I say this? Is because whenever the market, okay, is going sideways like this, also known as accumulation, okay, it means that what the market is doing is that we are currently building up money, okay, engineering liquidity to the downside and to the upside, okay? Why is that? Okay, why is that? Because beginners, when you start trading, what do people on YouTube, people in trading courses teach you? Beginners, whenever you want to see a low getting broken, you want to buy. Okay, you see a low getting broken, you want to buy. Okay, so what are all these guys are doing? They are buying here. And where are they putting their stop losses? Just below here. Okay, so below all these lows, there is money. Okay, now the same principle still stands to the highs. Okay, what is every single trader doing at these highs? Okay, we are selling at these highs. Okay, so what is that building? Liquidity, money. Okay, so the market does this in order to build money on both sides. Okay, and the big banks and big institutions, they're like sharks. Okay, they're like sharks. This is my shark, by the way, very aggressive shark. Okay, big banks and institutions, they're like sharks. They're waiting, circling below price here. They are waiting for price to trigger. You see? And so what are they doing? They are circling around this area, these big banks and institutions, circling around, waiting for one of these traders to want to break out, right? And as soon as price starts breaking out, okay, which is also known as manipulation, okay, accumulation, price is engineering liquidity, okay, then price is either going to break out to the upside or price is going to break down to the downside. Okay, that is known as the manipulation event. Okay, once price breaks up to the upside, for example, okay, these sharks, they're hungry. They're like, give me that money. Give me that money. So what do? They eat these fishes. All of us little retail traders, we're like fishes in here. We're like little fishes. As soon as they get out, these sharks, they eat us. And then, guys, once the sharks have a full belly, you know, they get to decide, do we want to continue swimming upstream? Do we want to continue swimming downstream? Right? Once the shark is fed, once the shark is not hungry anymore, it chooses which direction to take the market. Okay, so the market could either from here dump lower, or they can decide to push price up higher. Okay, and that's the simplest way that I can potentially put the accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, you know, scenario in trading. Right? The simplest analogy. Okay, so right now, Nasdaq is currently accumulating. Okay, we are accumulating. So what would I expect? Since we have our sell zone up above here, okay, we have a sell zone above price. Why do we have a sell zone here? Okay, and what are these sell zones? Sell zones for me are basically high confluence areas on the chart. Okay, it is when one or more confluences are lining up at the same level. Okay, so what could we potentially have here which could be interesting? Okay, so the first confluence that we have at this area here, okay, is we have London and New York highs. Right here we have London and New York highs. This is the only indicator that I have on my chart, guys. It's an indicator. It is called Asian Session Range. Okay, you can find it on TradingView for completely free. This basically marks out where the different session highs and lows are on my chart. Okay, so for example, I have Asian session in red. Okay, I have New York session in green, and I have London session in yellow. If you decide to use this indicator, okay, it is obviously completely free, okay, but the colors will be different, right? I just like to modify these colors for my liking, okay? This is how I like these colors to be, okay? So the first confluence we have is what? Asian and New York highs, okay? Now, what other confluence do we potentially have? We also have a 1 hour fair value gap right here, okay? A 1 hour bearish fair value gap, perfect, okay? Now let's add that to our list of confluences. 1 hour fair value gap. Okay, what else do we also have? Whenever you see highs or lows really close together, okay, this is a form of liquidity right here. Okay, so we have resting liquidity below a fair value gap. Whenever you see resting liquidity below a fair value gap, that is also a good sign, and it can act as a magnet for price. So we also have 1 hour fair value gap plus resting, I'm gonna call it resting lick, okay? Resting lick below. Okay, let's also see, do we have any Fibonacci retracements? Okay, let's check our little good old friend Fibonacci. Okay, do we have any Fibonacci retracements? We take it from the high, okay, from the most recent high right here, okay, of the start of the move down. Okay, whenever you want to draw your Fibonacci, you want to take it from the most recent high, okay, before the move down, which is right here. Okay, this is the high before the move down. So we drag it from the top all the way down to the bottom. Okay, you drag it from here. Let me also add my 0.5 level on. Okay, and what do you see, guys? You see, okay, we're not lining up with it perfectly, right? We're not lining with it perfect, but you can see that the 0.5 level is right here. Okay, can you look at Bitcoin? Yes, we're going to look at Bitcoin after NASDAQ. Okay, I'm just explaining to you guys how I come up with these sell zones and how I come up with these buy zones. Okay, these are just chart areas on the chart where there is multiple of confluences lining up, making them a key level. Okay, so we don't just have one thing that makes price want to go there. We have multiple things, they stack up, right? So that's how we identify these zones on NASDAQ. Okay, now going back to the sell zone, how it was before. Okay, where was it there? Boom, 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 boom. Sell zone, there we go. Okay, we got our sell zone back here. So for NASDAQ, what do you have to trade? MT5? Yes, Costa. I enter my positions in with MT5, and I use TradingView as my chart analysis. Bro, you're a very good man. Thanks, brother. Thanks, money. I do appreciate it. It is a little bit hard, guys, because, you know, I'm new to this whole live streaming thing. So, you know, as a trader, we don't have to speak to anyone. Trading is the most boring and antisocial job in the world, right? Unless you're trading with a partner, most of us are trading alone. So imagine, you know, all the millions of thoughts that happen in your brain whenever you're reading a chart and, you know, trying to communicate that to an audience who you don't even know their experience level. So it is a little bit tricky. I'm trying to manage it, but you know, it's a skill that I'll develop over time. What is better, Vantage or TradingView? Pepito, Vantage is a broker. It's like the bank, right? Where you deposit your money, okay, and then you connect your MT5 account with your broker, okay? But TradingView is for analysis. It's not the same thing, broski. I want to start live streaming, but I'm shy AF. Okay, honestly, it's not easy, right? And for the first, you know, 2.5 weeks, I only had 3 people watching me. And, you know, just over time, if you provide value and if people seem to like the person that you are, you know, you will get more and more viewers. And, you know, it's before, when I first started live streaming, I was, you know, in my mind, I was thinking like, damn, like, who do I want to be on live stream? You know, like, what sort of persona do I want to act? How do I want to come across to people on live stream? And, you know, that worked for the first, you know, 1 or 2 weeks. Well, it didn't work because I didn't get anyone when I was trying to be someone that I wasn't, right? Trying to act more with more energy, you know, trying to do things that I don't typically do on a day-to-day basis. And that I found that so draining because every single day I had to wake up and I'd be like, damn, I need to snap back into this character of myself again, right? I'm going on live stream. I need to get back into character. And then all of it, one day I just was like, I really don't give an F. I'm just going to come on live stream. I'm just going to be myself. And if people like who I am, then they like who I am, right? And there was absolutely no pressure. And that is when the people finally started coming in because they just saw that I was just a human being just like them, not trying to act a certain way. And, you know, over time, my audience is growing. So, okay, like, there is no point to be stressful about starting live stream. Just get out there and just, you know, don't add pressure on yourself. Just do what you love to do. Good morning, Marius, brother. Welcome to the live stream, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so for NQ, guys, we have buy zones here below. Okay, we have buy zones below, right? So what would okay, so with my buy zones, right, we can either use these areas, okay, to take trades off. Okay, so once price enters these areas, okay, I will look for a reaction on the lower time frames, typically on the 5 minute or the 1 minute for my executions. Okay, if we don't get a reaction, then there is no trade. Okay, I don't enter trades off limit orders. Okay, so these are just these are just key levels on the chart that I expect a reaction from. Okay, however, since we haven't hit these buy zones yet, okay, and if we do decide to come up to our sell zone first, okay, perfect, we can take a short targeting our buy zones, and this is how I use these zones to trade, right? If we come down to the buy zones first, okay, I will look for an entry taking us up to the sell zone, okay, and if we come up to the sell zone first, I will look for an entry targeting the buy zones, okay, and this is how I can bounce between two different levels. What do you say to Julian Petrulas? Who is Julian Petrulas? Costa? Who is that? Atanas, okay. Petrov, what are you saying? Okay, guys, I'm lost. I'm out of the loop. I don't know what you were saying. I was explaining things on NASDAQ. Okay, so guys, I have set my alerts on NASDAQ. I have set my alerts on the sell zone, and I have set my alerts on the buy zone. Now, whichever one of these gets hit, I will then come and see what happens. Bell, thank you for the follow. Dan, thank you for the follow. Trees, thank you for the follow. Love your energy. Thank you so much, Ibu. I really appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time, which is your most precious asset, and spending it with some random guy on TikTok talking about candlesticks. You must be as autistic as me, but I like autism. Watching candlesticks and watching another trader talk about charts takes a very special level of IQ. Not very many people can do that. How do you know where the sell zone is going to be? I just explained that, brother, but basically it is where there is an area on the chart where there is multiple of confluences lining up. For example, when there is equal highs, when there is the 0.5 Fibonacci level, when there is Asian highs, when there is a 1 hour fair value gap, when there is an order block, when all of these things line up in a certain specific area on the chart, okay, that makes it a high confluence level. So that becomes my zones, okay? That's how I basically identify. What time do you always come live? So I come live, I don't know what time zone you are currently in, but let's do, I always come live in the morning around 12 p.m. for me, because it's my session before lunchtime. So 12 p.m., which is around 10 p.m. UK time. Okay, I will be live in the morning, sometimes even 9:30 p.m. 9:30 a.m. UK time. Sorry, not p.m. a.m. 9:30 to 10 a.m. UK time. I am live in the morning, and then for New York session, I am live. So that's gonna be 2:30 to 3 UK time. Which pair? This is NASDAQ, brother. This is NASDAQ. I use AI to identify key levels. It's easier. Easier, yes. Better, you know, that's up for debate. That's up for debate. What would you do if that indicator didn't exist? You would be stuck. What time frame do you analyze for the zones? Comfort, it's all time frames, broski. It's all time frames overlapping. As I said, guys, time frames are like Russian dolls. Why is my Google tripping? Why is my Google tripping? I just want to show Russian dolls. Okay, time frames are like this. Okay, this is how time frames are. Right here, all time frames are the same. Okay, so in order for me to find my key levels, okay, I need to look at the big doll and I need to look at the small doll, okay, to identify the story of where price wants to tell me. Okay, every single time frame is the same, every single doll is the same, but they all come together to form one, right? A lot of you guys, I don't know if you guys know what these are, but it's these things that you put one inside of the other, one inside the other. The small goes into the medium goes into the large. Okay, that's the same concept for these time frames. So when I mark these key levels on my chart, okay, it's, for example, look, here we have a 4 hour fair value gap. Okay, we have a 4 hour fair value gap in here. Okay, as well as we have a 1 hour fair value gap in here. You see, these are, I'm already overlapping two time frames, right? And then if I even scale down to the lower time frame, what do I see? Yeah, I probably have a 15-minute fair value gap in here. Okay, so this is how all the time frames overlap, and the areas where all of them overlap, right? You can narrow it down, right? You can narrow it down to this one point here, which gives me my sell zone. Okay, then do you have a lot of zones? No, I don't typically have a lot of zones because there's not very many areas on the chart where everything lines up in one place. Typically, I will always have either 2 or 3 zones. Like when I send out my analysis, you see, for example, on gold, see, I'll have 2 buy zones here, and then I'll have my target, right? And then, let's see, this was a trade that we took yesterday, by the way, guys. I was telling people we went long on gold, we hit 2 TPs. It was a pretty nice trade, to be fair. We did end up coming and getting stopped out of break even. But these are sort of the charts that I send out. Look, sell zone 1, sell zone 2, and then sell zone 3. This is, for example, if I'm looking for shorts. This is typically how I do it, and I share my trading view chart so that you can just click the link and then you have the zones as well. You can just copy them on. So this is typically how I do things. So I'll typically have either 2 or 3 zones on either side. Gonzalo, what's up, brother? Welcome. You trade live or funded? I trade both, broski. I trade both. But my funders, I do not trade at the same way that I trade my live accounts. I am very, very picky about the trades that I take on my funded accounts, and I only enter when I see an A+ setup, because when I enter on my funded accounts, I risk big, especially if they're in eval phase. I don't mess around. So typically, last week I only entered 1 trade on the eval, which ended up being a dub, which was nice. It was with the funded account 5%ers, and I'm yet to take another trade on it. So the market reader. We all are market readers, broski. We all are market readers. Just some of us better than others, I guess. Okay, now we've analyzed gold, guys. We've analyzed Bitcoin, Nasdaq. Let's move over to Bitcoin because, guys, in the Discord we also have a crypto section as well, right? Typically this does get posted a lot during the weekend. Well, not a lot, but it does get posted in the weekend. However, on Bitcoin we have this sell zone. Okay, I said if we come up first on BTC before we take my target, that would be wonderful. Okay, and I marked out this sell zone here as 63,064. Okay, and my target for the trade is 61,470. And I alerted the Discord this morning. I said, guys, we tapped into our sell zone on BTC perfectly. This could give us a move. Okay, so let's check Bitcoin. Okay, you can see that the sell zone is right here. We have detected inactivity during the live. Complete the verification. One second, brother. I'll respond to your question about scalping. I just need to verify myself before I get banned. Again. There we go. Verification done. All right, we are all good. Okay, what do you think about scalping? Money, honestly, we all have our different trading styles. I'm in no position to tell you the way that you should trade. But scalping, for example, my trading partner, Neo, right? He's more of a scalper than a day trader, right? Not all the time, but he does tend to take shorter positions and does tend to enter more in the market, right? I only enter 1 or 2 trades a day max, right? And so I have nothing against scalping, bro. If your strategy works for that and you're like a low time frame hero, if you're a low time frame demon and you're scalping on the 1 and the 5 minute and that works, go for it. However, one big thing that I notice scalpers is that they always forget to zoom out, right? They are too stuck in the lower time frame. They're too stuck in the 1 minute. They're too stuck in the 5 minute, and they forget to look at the overall picture, which is still important, right? For direction, for catching those big trades that give you the big RR. That would be the only advice that I'd give if you are a scalper, is just don't forget to zoom out as well sometimes, right? Don't forget to zoom out. Money, it's not smart in my opinion. To be fair though, chicken, there is people making hella bread with scalping. It really just depends your way of trading, to be honest. It just really depends how you feel. Also, guys, if you are someone who's working a job, for example, and you don't have much time during your day, right? Then maybe scalping could be working for you, right? Because you don't have time to spend on the charts. No, sorry. I'm speaking nonsense. If you don't have time in the charts, okay, I would not recommend scalping because you need to be actively looking at the charts constantly, right? So if you're working a job or you're busy, you don't have much time for yourself, then scalping is probably not the best way for you. However, in that case, then day trading and swing trading could be so it could be the thing for you. So it's all about adapting it to your circumstances. Me personally, trading is my full-time job. You know, this is not my only income stream, to be fully transparent, okay? Because trading, you don't make money from trading every single month. There is some months where I make $0, and there is some months that I lose bread, right? So it wouldn't be very financially responsible of me to not have any money coming in during those tough months. So my other job is video editing, because it's also another one of my passions. So I currently edit videos for a friend of mine for his YouTube channel. So that's how I make my second income. There we go. Let me put some tunes on here. Guys, I'm sorry if the tunes are not the best, but I have recently been getting super many strikes with everything, so I have to put something that doesn't have lyrics so I don't get copyright banned. I apologize. This is not my favorite type of music, but it low-key is nice because it's just like not lyrics and allows me to focus and read the chart. Anyways, that being said, on Bitcoin, we have tapped into our sell zone, okay? Now, have I entered this trade yet? No, I have not, okay? Because we don't enter trades right when we tap the sell zone. You can see that it is a valid zone. Why? Because we are reacting from it, okay? Right now, currently, I'm just waiting to see what New York session does, okay? Because you always want the time and your trade to be aligned, right? A lot of you guys are trading. I had a rant about this in the Discord the other day, right? A lot of you guys are taking trades outside of session times, okay? That is like going shopping, okay, at a grocery store at 3 a.m. when all the shelves have been emptied and everyone has taken all the good stuff and you're there picking up the scraps. Okay, that's what trading outside of session time is. Right? The best time to go shopping is the time when the people come into the grocery store and restock the shelves. Why? Because the products are fresh, everything is fresh, there is so many options, okay? That is the best time to trade, the first 2 to 3 hours of a session open. If you're trading after that, you're just picking up the scraps that no one else wanted, right? So obviously your trade is not gonna play out, okay? Obviously. Right, so me currently right now, we are late into London session. Okay, yes, I am reacting from my sell zone. Yes, this does look like we do want to come down, but I'm not going to enter. Why? Because we're outside of session time, right? The first 3 hours of London session are already over. So what do? I sit on my hands and I wait until the new session opens. And if I miss out on this trade, if I miss out on a trade, it is what it is. I trust myself, I trust my analysis to be able to find another trade. Okay, and in that, it all comes down to this. If you guys have FOMO in the market, okay, if you see a trade going without you and you still enter the trade regardless, even if it doesn't follow your rules because you're scared of missing out on the trade, it just means on a very deep level that you don't trust yourself, bro. That's all it means. It just means that you don't have enough trust in your analysis to be able to think that you'll be able to find another and better trade. That's all it comes down to. If you are FOMOing, it means that you do not trust yourself enough. I trust myself that I know how to read this market, and I know that if the market goes without me, I will be able to find another trade. Okay? And that is the biggest breakthrough. You guys need to instill that mindset. You need to trust yourself. You need to trust your analysis. You need to trust that there is always going to be something better. Abundance mindset. Abundance mindset. I'm telling you guys, adopt an abundance mindset. I'm not saying it's easy. Not saying I'm perfect every single time of it, but as long as you're conscious. Fib level, 30-minute fair value up. I'm selling USD JPY. Well, brother, if those do sound like good confluences, fib level and 30-minute, as long as the fib level is 0.618 or the 0.5 or the 786, those are good levels to do. Make sure that you have liquidity as a target. Okay, make sure you have some sort of liquidity as a target. Either it's going to be equal lows, either it's going to be another fair value gap, either it's going to be a low high or low, right? Or if you're shorting, it's going to be an old low. Okay, make sure that there is something that is going to want to bring price lower, right? You might see a whole setup. Your setup might be perfect, but if you have no targets, then obviously it's not that good of a setup, is it? Right, so make sure that's the case. Anyways, guys, I have been ranting for over an hour and a half. I appreciate every single one of you that have joined the live stream. I am gonna go have lunch. I am starving. I'm still fasted. I woke up at 7:30 this morning to go do boxing, and I still haven't eaten anything, and it's 1:46. So I will be live for New York session, guys. I will be trading live as usual. Okay, so follow the account if you haven't followed me yet, and we can trade together. And for those of you guys that want to join the Telegram, it's completely free. The link is in my TikTok bio. I hope to see you in there, champs. And if not, till next time, I hope you guys learned something from this